What's up, guys? So I'm still playing with this GoPro setting, so I changed some of the settings, so I figured I'd do a little walk around video and somewhat of a promo video for my job because we are currently hiring. I think we have 2 open spots for qualified AP mechanics to work on that big pig out there. So for anybody looking for a new job or change career paths, this is a little overview of what it's like to work here at Lifelike. So in my office here, I have all our bunch of consumables, all our proper calibrated tools, whole list of parts, mostly commonly used parts, seals, O-rings, and a bunch of parts that we know fail. So that way the aircraft's not out of service and everything's right here. Obviously computer desk. Here at Geisinger, we used to have our own toolboxes that we had to bring in from home. About 8 years ago, they switched to these. Everything's already shadowed, and it's basically the tool list from Eurocopter that the factory techs use, on top of some common tools that we found make the job a little bit easier. Also go in here. And then we have this big thing. This is 482. It's our oldest aircraft we have. We have 9 aircraft. We have 8 EC-145s and 1 BK-117. Oddly enough, I maintain 2 of these. I have this one here in State College, and I have one in Williamsport. The one in Williamsport is actually our newest one. I think it's 2015 was the last time it was one that rolled off the assembly line. This is, I want to say this is a 2007 model. Yep, it's a 2007. So up front, so obviously 2007, so it has some older tech. Every Garmin 530, 430 avionics package. This has 3-axis autopilot. It's IFR capable and night vision capable. Keep our night vision goggles right here. This is also single pilot, so all of our pilots are single pilot IFR. So the only time they fly with the second pilot is during training or orientation. But for the majority of the time, there's just one guy up here. And then we have a nurse and a paramedic that sits back here and takes care of the patients. And then usually we'll have a ride-along doctor or something like that. But generally it's just a crew of 3. And they're here 24/7. I'm usually here a couple days a week. I kind of rotate both bases, and yeah. So for searchlights, we have this big SX5 Nisun. Then if you look underneath, we have this big searchlight here, and then this searchlight here is also an NVG searchlight. So when they're under goggles, they can turn the NVG portion of that on, and they can see. And then we come down here and we got our 3 cross tube lighting lights, and obviously all the antennas for the various radios they have in here for EMS and aviation. Since this is an EMS aircraft, we have these wire strike cutters here and there, and then up top. This does have weather radar as well. Coming around back. So one of the main reasons why so many EMS programs use this platform, the 135, the 145s, and the BKs, is because of how open the cabin is when these doors are open. It also makes working on it really easy. Each one of these panels is a section that can come off, and you can access various things in here. So if you need to get to one of the GCUs or something that's up here, you don't have to take the whole interior out. You can just take one particular panel off to get to it. Doors. Shut like that. And then I gotta undo that and tuck that back in. Since this is a EMS aircraft, we have to have a siren and a loudspeaker, just like an ambulance does. Keep these all tucked in. For the medical crew, this is basically just an ambulance back here. They have, you see down here, they have all their medical stuff out because the weather's bad, so they can't fly. So in case they have to do a ground transport, they already have it already. But all that stuff normally gets mounted all in here. We have our inverters up here, so you can see that we have household plugs, so they can keep everything charged. Then they have suction pumps and air pumps in the belly up front for all the other medical stuff. For oxygen, they use liquid oxygen. So there's a liquid oxygen orb in here that runs oxygen lines. There's 3 ports in here. There's one behind that seat. There's 2 up here, and there's 1 in the back. Obviously, here's where we put the fuel in. Due to regulations, even though this is an EMS helicopter, which has all the drugs and bandages and everything you would need in here, we still have to have a first aid kit. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for in here. We'll take a little walk around the outside and get up under the cowlings. One fun fact about these aircraft, so this has a rotor brake. So this is the older style, so there's a Type 1, Type 2. Since this is the oldest aircraft, it has a Type 1 style. The Type 2 style is actually from Brembo, and there's a brake disc on the back drive shaft that goes to the tail rotor, and the brake caliper is identical to the brake caliper that is on the FTRs, and the brake pads are almost identical to the brake pads on the FTRs. However, changing the brake pads and brake caliper on this is all-day affair versus FTR, it's only 20 minutes. But, neat little tidbit. So this aircraft itself is German. The gearboxes are from Kawasaki Heavy Industries, and the engines are Turbomechas, and they're from France. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of Europe, all on the same platform. Currently, it's called Airbus because Airbus bought Eurocopter. But per data plate, it's still a Eurocopter. Moving up here, we have our hydraulic pump. And then you can see here, since this has 3-axis autopilot, you have your pitch and your roll actuators up here on top of your hydraulic pack. And then you have your 2 reservoirs. Here's one. And there's one back there, and then you can see right there, that is your hydraulic pump. And the nice thing about these aircraft too, for the whole wide open cabin, is you have your flexible cables here. What they do is they run down right behind that windshield wiper, and then through the belly, and then right to your controls. So there's actually nothing from the pilot seat all the way back to the back of the aircraft. That entire cabin is open. Where some of the older aircraft, they had what you call a broom closet, where you had control rods that went right down the middle between the 2 pilot seats. This does not have that. Moving up to the head. This is a rigid rotor system. Unlike some of the bigger aircraft like Scorseas and everything, where this all moves and flexes, there's strap packs in here, so this is just one big piece of unobtainium metal that's milled out and has all strap packs in it. And then your controls go up to your swash plate and go right here, and then the whole blade just kind of rotates on the strap pack in here. That changes your pitch. These are vibration dampers. When the blades are spinning, these obviously sit and hang out, and they sit there and move. If you look up, I'll see if I can find the video and put it in the description, but somebody actually mounted a GoPro here on a V105 and just watch the blade go out, and you can see the blade oscillating like this, and then these balls just kind of sit there. So another neat thing about this aircraft, to make it a little bit easier, is they put viewing windows for all the major stuff for your oil levels. So you can do a quick walk around, check all your fluids without actually opening cowlings. And also built-in steps, so you can get up and down. This is your external power, so when you want to run avionics or run the engines for comp washes or start using the external power, we have this guy here. This power is shoreline, so it keeps the inverters going, so they can charge all this stuff when it's in the aircraft. Moving back here, this is actually our battery, so we keep a battery back there. And then if you look in here, you'll see there's two fire bottles. So this has a fire suppression system. There's 2 bottles, so 1 for each side. If there's a fire on the number 2 engine and it doesn't go out with the first bottle, you can actually use the second bottle on one engine if you want. Luckily, we haven't had to trigger them. Coming back here, we have a rad out. It's a radar altimeter, which is very useful for when they're doing night landings in fields for unapproved landing zones. And here you see our tail rotor system. And then our intermediate gearbox has this little door that you can sit there and check. The only older aircraft have this. They did away with it a couple years ago. We have our stinger back here, so if they are coming down, this will actually hit before these hit. Or if you're towing it using ground handling wheels and you hit the brakes a little too much and it's a little back heavy, it'll kind of nose up, and obviously this will touch the ground first in a perfect world. Moving along here, get a look at our turbo mecha engine. I think these have 850 shaft horsepower, if I'm not mistaken. This is our oldest one, so it has a Type 1 Vartoms where everything is cable actuated, and then the actuators are down, actually right below here in the ceiling down here. The engines are the exact same from 1 to 2. Obviously on the other side, this is on the inboard side, so we have this firewall here that we can take out when I need to access all of this stuff, but on the other engine. So basically everything that you do down here, you do by feel, by putting your hand down on the other side. So this is super fun. Moving over here, we have our oil cooler fan. We have our oil cooler, so half of this does the engine oil, the other half does the main gearbox oil. And then obviously here's our oil reservoir for the engines. And this is the same on both sides. So this is easy to work on up here. For our co-pilot side, the controls and everything basically is all redundant system from over there. The neat thing about this aircraft is you can peel this up, and there's a nut down here. You can undo the nut here and do this, and these 2 controls can come right out, and you don't have to deal with anything in here. But it's a quick little overview. Go outside and show you the tarmac. So this airport is the State College Airport. That hangar right there is actually Penn State's hangar, where they keep their, I think they have a King Air and a small jet that they keep in there. And then all the private stuff is down there, and then this is all corporate jets. When there is a Penn State game, this entire ramp will be just loaded with private jets. And then you can't see it obviously because it's really foggy, but if you're up on a ladder here, you can almost see the Beaver Stadium. It's like right over there. But I will post the job link in the description. If you have an AMP and you want to apply to work at Lifelight, the open positions, I think they're both for Danville, PA right now. Pay is pretty competitive, and you get to work for the hospital. It has its perks.